hey, we're going to Baja, or is it just routine for them now?
It's a combo. So I basically have like my finger on the pulse of their vacations. So I know in my head when the next vacation is. We got President's Weekend coming up. I also know it's whale watching season, and so we went down last spring for the whales, and I wouldn't say we got skunked. It was really cool actually, but it was like nuking wind. So if I can convince my husband to go down for the whales, he's always like, really? And then we get down there and he's like, I'm so glad we went, a couple years ago we got it like bomb. It was just like misty morning. We got on the first boat. You heard the whales before you saw them because it was so foggy. It was really magical, and I'd really like a cool experience like that again. The last couple times we've seen them, it's been like really, really windy, which is also really cool. It's like that's fun too. There were a ton of whales last time, but it was nuking wind. So I don't know. That's my next goal. We'll see. Maybe not. It's kind of we're not the kind of people who necessarily have like a plan.
I like that. But do you always have an anchor because of property in San Juanico? So are you always sort of thinking about that's where you're going to end up? Or do you just say, you know what? We need to go to a ranch in the mountains, or we need to get over to the East Coast because it's going to be warmer and it's still winter down there?
I would say my anchor is the AAA map.
I love it. Which you can't get any longer, which is tragic.
I have a stash. So
Let's reproduce it.
Yeah, we should, really.
Absolutely.
You can't photocopy it. I've tried. Kinko's gives me a dirty look and says it's impossible. I don't know. It kind of depends. Sometimes we get friends. Have you noticed it's kind of hard to get friends to come to Baja?
I have a friend who has young kids, but we were college buddies, and I can get him to go to Baja.
Right.
But it hasn't been easy, frankly. People, get into, again, I've got kids in college, and I'm hoping that I can get to Baja with my college-aged kids more easily than I can get with my old buddies who we went so many times, so many years ago. But it's hard.
It's hard to round people up, We're always like, yeah, you want to come to Baja with us? And
do you scare people? Do you think you scare your friends? I mean, Southern California, Baja is just second nature. People love tacos. People love, everybody's got a pre-runner that they're driving around, a Ford Raptor that they're just driving over to the mall. Yeah. But do you think you scare your friends?
I don't know. I think they're afraid to scratch their $100,000 Raptors. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of friends that go to Baja, but it's kind of hard to sync up with them. We do have a few friends we've gone with recently. But I don't know if it's like a scheduling thing or if maybe we're just like a little too wild. I'm not sure. Yeah. We're always like, we get out to these like remote beaches. Like, have you been out to El Barril?
Yeah.
Yeah. We get out there and we're like, oh man, it is like so beautiful. Wouldn't it be cool if we had like 5 families out here, like tons of kids? And then we're like, which 5 families? I'm trying to remember what it was, but I kind of like said like, okay, you got to have like fish tacos. You got to have like street tacos, like meat tacos. You got to have like a beer. You got to have like a Coke in a glass bottle. You got to go someplace new. You got to go someplace you haven't been in a long time. You have to go to like an old favorite, right? Like I can't remember what it was. I can't remember the post, but I kind of like listed off like the ultimate Baja trip, and it was kind of all those things. But it kind of shifts. We just recently, I haven't posted much about it. I really need to get a website up where I'm like blogging about this guy, where I'm like really going into detail. But we went to Sierra San Francisco, and I hadn't been up there before, and that was all time. That was for me mind blowing. We went in the rain, which was really cool. We were forced to really unplug. The kids were forced to unplug. We were playing like dice and cards with the kids, the donkeys. I think like I just like the other night, like really like posted like a bunch of highlights on my stories. And I don't know if many people were listening to the sound, but we're like on the donkeys, and it's just one video. But my daughter, if you listen to the sound, she goes, "Oh no, we're not going down there, are we? Because we're like kind of up on a mesa, and we're about ready to go down, and we did go down there, and it was really cool. Like, I think the kids were as blown away as we were by the adventure, and I don't know. I can't wait to do it again.
And tell us about your children, their ages. You have a boy and a girl.
I have a boy and a girl. Bo is 6. Layla is 8. I would say Layla likes Baja more than Bo. Bo likes his tablet and English. They're both in Spanish immersion. They both speak great Spanish. Layla connects more with Baja. She likes to surf more than Bo does. She's more adventurous as a whole. Bo is always like, when are we going home? I want to play with the neighbor kids. He likes it, but he's less enthusiastic. I think that'll change. I think that'll shift. But Layla is always up for an adventure. She really loves Baja. Because they spent a year going to kindergarten down in San Juanico, they have friends down there, which is really cool. They're always really excited to get to San Juanico to see their friends, which was really a goal of mine to establish ongoing friendships for them. So we always try and get down there in the summer so that they can continue that and at Christmas time. So that's important to us. It's also really important for me that the kids see how the rest of the world live. They get so much, and I can't help but spoil them, and we don't even, we're not super wealthy, but it's just we live in a world of wealth here. You can't even help but we just have access to so much. It's just can't be helped,
Yeah, our baseline is so much higher.
Yeah.
And what I saw when we lived in Baja, on vacation basically, and then in Zacatecas where our kids went to school was, it was embarrassing because, the truck comes around and rings the bell and you have to take your garbage out into the middle of the street with the neighbors. And so they would have one of those little tiny plastic bags that's 12 inches by 12 inches, and that's their garbage for a week.
Sure.
And here we are, even consciously trying not to consume.
Yeah.
And, it's freezing cold, so we went to the Soriana and we bought a space heater for our, Adobe that we were renting that was freezing.
Yeah.
But you can't, coming from here, it's just eye-opening how much we have and how much more we have than we actually really need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that it'd be very interesting to check in with your family when they're, when your kids are 18 and 20 and see what this experience has instilled in them and how they're viewing the world then and what they're deciding to do with their lives. It'd be very,
yeah,
we're going to have to make a date to check back in on the Baja sessions.
I have to remind my kids constantly because my really good friend Dahlia lives in a very humble home and they all share a bed. And I have to say to the kids constantly, and her son is their age, I have to say, where does Adrian live? Let's talk about Adrian for a second. What does he have and how happy is Adrian? Because he's the happiest kid, and I don't know how to get that across to them. They're young, I'm hoping that it'll eventually click, or maybe it has clicked. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think I'm not sure that you can quiz them about it, but certainly it's something that should be resonating with them deeply, and we went through much of that in Zacatecas. You'd referenced earlier the freedom that your children have, that they can just run along, and we had a boy who turned 5 down there, and he just head out the front door, hang a right, and he'd run down, a couple houses down was a little butcher shop, and then he'd be onto the Dulceria on the corner, and there's a little taco stand, and then if you went around to the block behind her house, there was a kid from his kindergarten class whose parents had a little furniture shop, and they lived in the back of the furniture shop, and at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I'd walk down the street, go to the taco stand, ¿Dónde está Roberto? Oh, ahí. Dulceria. Yeah. And then you go to the Dulceria. ¿Dónde está Roberto? Oh, ahí. Muebleria. And then you go in there and he's, on his hands and knees playing a bull, and the kid who lives there is, just back from his bullfighting lesson, dressed as a little matador,
so cool.
Which our kids play, soccer or organized baseball, everything here so organized. So, in Zacatecas is bull country, and so the kid was learning to be a matador, and Robert's in his family's furniture shop, as a bull, just
cool
knocking stuff over and but the freedom was incredible.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that we worry so much now here, and in what's very, very safe country.
Yeah,
we worry
right.
so much about this,
their
and then you
safety.
get down there, and it's like kids can run, and I think that's a wonderful thing.
And I think that's, in particular, my daughter, that does resonate with her. She always talks about how much she loves that she gets to just walk down to the store and, buy herself snacks. She does really get that is something to value. She loves that she can do that. She loves that she speaks the language and that she can just go in and ask, for whatever she wants to buy. And she really appreciates the whole aspect of that. And I love that she has that. And, I was talking to my friend, Katya, who lives down in San Juanico, and she's actually from Los Cabos. She's Mexican, and she said to me that her nephew came from Los Cabos, and she said that her nephew feels the same way. So he's Mexican from Los Cabos, and he loves going to like the interior to San Juanico for the exact same thing. So it's not just Americans coming to the middle of Baja. It's also Mexicans from like the city who enjoy that as well. And I think that's something that I talk about a lot on my Instagram too. Is that I resonate the most with the middle of Baja, like El Rosario to like La Paz. There's something about
El Rosario to La Paz, you said, yeah.
Yeah. There's
Absolutely.
something about like that span of Baja. Not that I don't like really connect with, I don't know, all of it. Like, hold on, let me pull back a second. La Rumorosa, that grade's like super at Tecate. I don't know.
But it doesn't sound like you're heading down to the Valle with your lady friends for a women's wine weekend.
I keep trying to get them to go. I say that all the time, and they say, yeah, I don't know if it's just busyness. I do. I got some girlfriends to go last year. So, yeah, I mean, it's just rounding them up. I think people are just so busy.
Right. Too busy. Too busy to smell the...
I had a friend say to me just last night, I was talking about something about getting our girls together. They used to be in the same class together, and they haven't been the last couple of years. And I said, I think they really miss each other. We got to get them together. And she's like, oh, yeah, if you didn't have the whole travel thing that you do.
Oh, yeah, or the ski team or the travel soccer or any of those. Yeah,
right,
so I go to Baja and give my kids that. Yeah.
Yeah, so
all
sorry.
Right. Bad mom.
Yeah, I just, we all have our priorities, and I guess for me, my priority is Baja. And
what's your next Baja priority? Where are you headed? What's I think we got sidetracked.
Yeah, we got sidetracked.
What's brewing on your next trip?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so I do like to do my annual, Canyon de Guadalupe. Right? That's like those hot springs, or you've been up there, yeah?
Yeah, and I saw your post about it and how fun it was for you and the family.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, they're getting so expensive, though, I mean, they've always been kind of pricey, but I was just looking at their one of their Instagrams. They were like $112. They know their value.
Yeah.
We were joking. We're like, gosh, that's more than like a high-end hotel.
No, I know. That's Calistoga pricing.
Yeah.
Off-season.
That's like, we were up there, like, I think last year, we were like giving them a hard time. We're all, you know what? That's more than like camping in the U.S. But, oh my gosh, a funniest story. I need to post it actually on my Instagram. I need to figure out how to do the live because I've got some long videos. But we brought some friends up there last year, and I like climbed up on this rock, and I was videoing their van like coming in. And then I got done with the video, and I didn't realize my camera was still on. And I come scrambling down, and there's a hole, like maybe like 1.5 feet around, and I fall into the hole. And you'd think, like, I had rain boots on, and it looked like I could just like tap my foot in. Oh no, this hole was like 6 feet deep. Oh yeah, I fell so far into it that I had to yell for help. And my husband and our friends had to come pull me out of the hole.
What's your life like here? You've had some adventures, some difficulties.
Life here is okay. I think my last post, I was talking about how if I could just be a little bit more of the person I am when I'm in Baja, I would do a little better.
I thought about starting